So every time I come to your house, you got surprises. You got surprises every time, you know? Always. So we're at the boy Mike's house, and he is the one with the 1JZ WRX. And now, moving forward, you guys saw that we got a GC or GM, whatever we want to call it. Can we call it a GC? It's way easier. We're gonna call it a GC. So we got that, and you guys don't know what engine's going in it and what transmission. So the whole point of today's video is going to be showing the engine because it finally came here, and also the build plans going forward with it because stuff's moving. We're doing it, kind of. We're getting somewhere at least. You have, you know, some things going. So right now we're going to check out the engine, and then we're going to get Mike's whole build plan as far as what it is right now, I guess, right? What it is, okay. Well, I don't even know what is the name of the engine? Another 1JZ going in the GC, but this one will be all-wheel drive. That's the difference.
Oh yeah.
How are we doing that?
All right, this motor, I already took the diff off, but you can see we've got these 3 studs.
Yup.
And a shaft sticking through the side. This actually goes all the way through the oil pan and goes
Weird.
over here to this shaft over here. All right.
Okay.
So that's where the axle output will be on the one side. We've got the diff down here. And this is where those bolts go.
So this 1JZ was automatic and all-wheel drive.
And all-wheel drive. They only offered it in automatic.
Interesting.
Unfortunately.
Did it come with the turbo?
Negative. So this is also a non-turbo. They never offered it in the turbo either. I don't think there was any other naturally aspirated 1JZ. I could be wrong, so somebody check that. Anyway, it'll bolt to the side of that. I'm going to take it apart, see if I can re-gear it. Because right now it's a 4.3 to 1 ratio, and that's way too low for the transmission I want to use. So assuming that it's a 7.5 Toyota, I can get a 3.58, and that should hopefully get me closer, because that kind of brings us to the next point, what transmission we're going to use.
Which is?
A BMW 330 Xi.
You're dirty. You're dirty, bro.
It's just another one of these cars that doesn't have any matching parts.
It's gonna be all, because that one was what did we call it? A Toy Subasan? Or
Toy Subasan.
So that was a Toy Subasan. So now this is gonna be a Toy Bimasan? Toyota, BMW, some Nissan's going in there at some point.
I think I'm using a Nissan rear end again because that's already 3.58.
Okay.
So that being the case, I only have to do the front end. That'd be super easy. If not, I'll re-gear my Mark III Supra diff.
So pretty much the hardest thing with this one going into it is the fact that it's all-wheel drive, and the whole like him saying re-gearing stuff is it has to match.
Front and rear have to match.
Exactly.
Because the transfer case is 1-to-1.
So that's why it'd be a lot harder to make the 1JZ over here and the WRX. That's rear-wheel drive now. A lot easier. You just got a rear differential, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, custom drive shaft and stuff like that. But now going all-wheel drive with the JZ, and it's going to be turboed.
So right, this one will be this motor's going to go away.
Yeah.
I basically only want the oil pan, and I'm just going to bolt a turbo motor to it instead.
Ah.
So that's why I bought this one. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people don't really understand how we get power to this diff, because there's nothing internally in the motor. Should we show them the transmission and the drive shaft?
We'll do that.
All right.
This is the transmission that came with the engine.
With that motor, yeah.
Okay.
So as we can tell, obviously we bolt our engine up here. This is a standard bell housing. This one will go for an automatic, a manual, all sorts of stuff. You can see here we've got a drive shaft.
Excellent.
All right, this end goes to that front diff that goes on the side of the motor. And then inside we've got a transfer case. This is a 1-to-1 transfer case, so when this goes one time, this goes one time. So assuming that, we put the same ratio here as we do back there,
we should be good to go.
It should work.
It should work in theory, you know, because the theories are always great, but it's gonna have to. It's got no option.
Well, unless there's a reduction in the clutch system in there, but I don't think so. Couldn't buy just the oil pan from them.
Yeah.
But oh well.
So you had to get the whole thing.
Yeah. This was this I actually got from ALN Motor or Auto Motors or something like that in Texas. So this motor made its way halfway across the country just for me to take it apart and throw it away.
So I guess what is next at this point? You got the engine, even though you got it really just for the oil pan. Like, what's next? You just start taking it apart and measuring stuff. I'm trying to hold hands. So that was kind of hot. Anyway.
I think at this point, if I can get this motor torn down, take the crank out of it, take the pistons out, just make it really light so I can easily move it. I'm going to bolt it up to that transmission because the sizing of it is about the same as the BMW. And that'll give me a good starting point so I can cut my transmission tunnel, cut the firewall, and then I'll start creating a way to mount the motor on the frames and kind of get it positioned, and then I'll build the subframe around that. How do you not? Okay, I think another important thing is how do you not get overwhelmed? You just only have fun with it. That's number one, right? You gotta have fun with it. Yeah. But so you say that, but I actually do get overwhelmed really easily because I'm sitting here last night. It's like 10 o'clock last night, and I'm going,
how am I gonna do this?
Where is the steering rack gonna go? You tell me where. Where does the steering rack go in this whole thing?
You go right-hand drive.
Well, no.
You know, like, I don't know.
My only assumption is that the rack went right here. Because that's like the only kind of high spot that's kind of rounded, that's relatively close to the axles.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So, I was looking at the Panda WRX, the RB.
Yeah.
And he went dry sump.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to do the same thing on mine. It's going to have to be that way.
Yeah.
But I was noticing that he took the front of his oil pan and cut it off. All right, so he just cut straight off here and then welded a plate. And I think that was how he got clearance for the rack. If that doesn't work, I'm going to tempted to try to get it to fit back here and design reverse knuckles.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's just you're determined. Yeah. Wait, so why can't we use that transmission and somehow make it? Never mind, it's automatic. We don't want automatic. We don't want automatic.
I mean, you could.
No. We need a manual.
Yeah. 16.
So they make manual 330xi.
Yep. 6-speed transmissions.
Pretty much you got to get all the parts here, mock it all up, then go step by step. This needs to get done, this needs to get done.
Yeah, I mean the cool part about the Beamer Trans is that there are plenty of manufacturers that are making the adapter from the JZ to a BMW transmission. Yeah. So that makes that part super easy. But other than that, I'm just
gonna be. That's all you can do, pretty much, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
This does look totally different than the other one, Jay.
Oh, it's actually shiny inside.
Excellente.
Wow. That's about the cleanest one I've ever seen.
Looks really good, actually. It does.
I'm very surprised.
Lobes are clean.
Wow, that's a little bit crispy. Not terrible, but shit. I am surprised. The only thing I'm pretty sure is different is I think the cam lobes are smaller for the NA versus the turbo. So there's so much research I need to do, but the hard part is nobody's got any information on these motors. Yeah. So if anybody watching has info on these motors, please tell me.
Let us know.
The JZX 105 Chaser from 1996, supposedly. That's what I was told.
We may never know.
It just has the oil pan I wanted. Let's kind of try to imagine this, right? So on our all-wheel drive motor, that front diff comes out straight through the center of it. So right between cylinder 3 and 4. Yep. All right. So if we were to look at that, that's like right about here. Okay. Our control arm pivot is right about here. And then if we were to go all-wheel drive, we have to be behind that. So we need to be right about here. So if you can tell, it's going to be about 8 inches or so that we need to move that back. So the motor is going to be 8 inches behind, or the input is going to be 8 inches behind that, or from the center line of this. So obviously with that, we've got, maybe 1.5 inches between the firewall and the back of the engine right now. Yep. So we're going to move it back about 6 or 7 inches just to get that to work. Holy shit. Yeah, we're gonna cut a big old hole.
It's gonna be all up in there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be sweet.
Oh my god.
So sick. And of course you can see where all the other issues are with that steering rack. because our steering rack is literally right there in front of our pivot, right where our front diff is going to be. So I think the way that Austin did his in the RB was their subframe just comes straight down and straight across.
Yeah.
And it basically just cradles it, and they built everything around that. I'm going to try a couple of different options as far as steering racks go. I've heard that a Thunderbird steering rack will it bolts in differently.
Yeah.
TSS Fab uses them, and it may give us a little more leeway just because of the different mounting position. So we're gonna try some stuff out. I'm gonna do some Googling. I might go with an electric steering rack too. It just depends on how it looks.
It's just a whole bunch of trial and error.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, maybe we'll move the steering rack back. We'll make up some kind of like, some sort of system that'll actually steer it, remotely. So the rack will be behind, and we'll have a pivot in the front. Yeah. I have no idea. I'm trying to find any kind of image on this car that this came out of to just
see how it all worked.
See how it worked.
Yeah. It makes you respect the swap. I think that's what this whole video is about.
Either that or it makes everyone think I'm nuts.
It's either that or that. That makes sense. It's just like what you said. Like if you go to a show and you have something swapped, people just see the final result. They don't see any sort of process that goes behind.
Exactly.
What it takes to actually make it work. Like it's actually kind of insane.
That's okay. If you can't take the time to see what really went into it to understand it, that's cool, because a lot of people will never be able to do this kind of stuff. Yeah. Not because they don't have the brains or whatever. They don't have the ability. It's just not a regular thing, and I'm really grateful that I can come through and try to make this. Yeah. And and if nothing else, it gives other people hope that they can do this eventually with their own cars or their own projects. You just gotta have ambition. You gotta go for it.
Pretty much, huh?
Look how clean that one is. Shiny. Are we ready for this?
We're making some mad progress. The goal today is take off the head. Already got valve covers off. Obviously all the cam caps were exposed. The buckets now. And obviously all the valve train stuff. Everything's looking pretty clean. Oil's pretty dirty. But as far as like marring or scarring or larring, starring, any of those words. Whoa. It's looking good. Ish. I don't know. Oh my god, you doing this?
It wiggles.
You doing this?
I don't know.
Head's coming off.
I don't know.
And then we get to see the pistons and all the goodies.
Does this car have pistons?
I hope so.
I don't know. I don't work on NA stuff. Is it any different inside?
It might just be air in there.
Dude, you're right.
Makes sense.
Just like hook up an air hose on the side.
That's it.
All right. I may need your help lifting this head.
Okay, well then let's put this here. Adapt to your surroundings. See what's doing this?
Yeah, let's drop it over there by that antenna.
Hello?
Bro, there's pistons.
Holy shit.
No way. One thing I'm really glad is
the block
was completely drained out. So it turns out they have pistons inside.
There is pistons, and they are extremely domed. Cool. All this differential assembly, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Shaft that goes through the oil pan. Initially in my head I thought it was just like it just went through and there were seals on the outside, but it's actually like a solid tube that goes straight through so that they could just keep all the geometry right, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Like, oh yeah, one big cast piece.
One big cast piece. It's so gnarly. So no oil goes through it. It was just dry.
Nice.
Interesting. Nice. Quite interesting. No. We got freaking parts everywhere. The engine is now stripped over there. Super depressing. But it needs to be that way so you can mock it up.
Aye.
Now it's gonna weigh like 100 without the crank.
I have no idea what the
I don't know actually. Probably lighter.
Yeah, I'll get the crank pulled a little bit. Probably not today.
At least it's moving,
Yeah.
Progress is progress.
I just need to get more space in this garage.
Everything's for sale.
Yeah.
Right? Everything. Hey, if you need some house stuff, no, actually, hey, everything's for sale. Whatever you want, take it. $5.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I don't know what planet you live on.
I don't know yet.
$5 don't buy
I think it's because I'm starving, is what it is.
Go get food.
I'm gonna get food.
You do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something about the project. What are we gonna call this? Project GC? Project What did we call it before?
GCJ?
The GCJ.
Or the GCZ? GCZ?
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out.
The JZ8.
What? That's gonna be it. Okay, he's losing it. I'm losing it. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.